Hello and welcome to the Travel Inspired Podcast. My name's Adam Constanza and this is a Wellingtonian's definitive guide to Wellington. And in this Explore podcast, I'm going to share just a handful of the places I go time and time again. If I'm looking for a little time outdoors, a little bit of an adventure, these are the places I go. Okay, let's crack on. The first place I want to share is Red Rocks on the south coast of Wellington. It only takes maybe 15 minutes in a car. I quite often cycle around there, and it can take maybe 3/4 of an hour from the CBD to get to the south coast. It's my go-to if I'm looking for a little bit of time out or a little bit of solitude, and I walk for a couple of hours along the south coast. On a Sunday, 4x4s and all other vehicles are prohibited, so I highly recommend if you're going to walk on a Sunday, and you'll pretty much have the place to yourself and a few other walkers. The wind is quite often blowing a gale, the waves are crashing in. It's a really beautiful, wild and rugged spot. One of the real highlights for me is the fur seals. There's a colony between May and October. Probably about an hour into the walk, you'll come to a point and there'll quite often be a huge colony of fur seals, maybe between 20 to 100 I've seen before, and you can watch them playing in the pools, sunbathing, doing what fur seals do. It's pretty incredible, and best of all, it's free. So I highly recommend this walk for the whole family on a fine day. Take everything you need. There's nothing available out there. There is ample car parking available, and there's an unmanned information centre and toilets at the beginning of the walk. Okay, on to the next one. Matui Soames Island. You've probably spotted it in the middle of Wellington Harbour by now. It's a dock reserve and can be reached on a small ferry in 15 to 20 minutes. A beautiful ride on a calm day, and it's home to lots of New Zealand native species, including little blue penguins, shag, skinks, silver gulls, and heaps more awesome birds and reptiles. As always with wildlife, you never know what you're going to see, but regardless, the views looking back at the city are pretty awesome. So head down to the waterfront to the East by West ferry shop and book yourself some tickets. Then head on over to the island, and once again take everything you need as there's nothing available on the island. The next spot is a bit of a hidden gem, I think. Not too many people go there that I know of or have even heard of it, and it's Point Dorset in Seatoun. It's a short yet pretty steep walk up to the high point, and up on the high point there's several World War II bunkers which you can walk in and around and look out at viewpoints across the Wellington Harbour entrance, and it's pretty awesome. And also the views looking out over Breaker Bay are definitely worth the walk alone. You don't need to spend heaps of time up there, maybe an hour, 2 hours, but definitely worth it. And this one will come as no surprise to Wellingtonians, Mount Vic. It's undoubtedly the most popular walk in Wellington, and for good reason. It offers incredible panoramic views out over Wellington. Yeah, really have to be seen to believe, but if you have seen a picture of Wellington, of the harbour, it's probably from Mount Vic. I always recommend to anyone to walk up to the lookout. It probably takes about an hour depending on your speed and your fitness levels. And a little tip for Lord of the Rings fans: if you walk up through the Mount Vic forest, there's some signposts and they'll point you to the Hobbit's hideaway, and which you'll no doubt recognise from the movies. And finally, Zealandia. It's an eco-sanctuary for native species just on the outskirts of the CBD. An amazing place to wander around, and it doesn't matter if you want to walk 15 minutes or walk for a couple of hours. Zealandia is the place to do it. It offers a heap of tracks and different trails that you can take, and the sanctuary itself is incredibly scenic, and there's so many native birds that live within the sanctuary, and obviously they're all free to fly away, but yeah, they choose to make their home there. And also you may get lucky and see one of the resident tuataras, but yeah, there's so much to see and do there. There's also a cafe on site, so ideal for a tea or a coffee or a spot of lunch. And they also offer a night tour as well, so you can you can rock up once it's dark and look for those nocturnal species, which sounds pretty awesome to me. So that's it for the Explore podcast, folks, of a Wellingtonian's Definitive Guide to Wellington. I'll probably do a part 2 of one of these, as there's so many more places I want to recommend and make known in and around Wellington. In the meantime, if you want to see more, head over to my website, www.travelinspired.co.nz, and from there you'll find the full Wellingtonian's Definitive Guide to Wellington, which has a whole range of different places to go, including cafes, restaurants, bars, places nearby to Wellington. So yeah, heaps and heaps to keep you busy. And whilst you're there, as always, look up my Facebook, Instagram and YouTube page for heaps more articles and videos. And as always, it's been a pleasure, guys. I hope you find this useful. Let me know in the comments if there's places you recommend also. And until next time, speak to you soon. Cheers, guys.